right, I guess we're going to get this going a little bit early here, get ahead of the snow here. My name is Trent Larson. I did 14 years on the planning commission for Empire Township. I was their mayor for 2 years. Live up in northern Minneapolis, or northern Wisconsin right now, so I don't have any skin in the game here. I'm just here to do a bipartisan thing here. I guess we can start going. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance real quick. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the candidates for showing up. We got Jordan Harper. All right, I'm going to butcher this one. Todd Shostran, okay. Russell Zellmer, Nora Kuhn, and Sandy Weber. The first three are running for the seat A, and the second two are running for the seat B. We're going to start the candidates forum by opening statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement, and then at the end, we're going to give them another 2 minutes for a closing statement here. We're going to, all right, opening statements will be by draw. Okay, we did a drawing. Sandy, you want to go ahead and start? Yep.
Hi, I'm Sandy Weber. I have and always do research thoroughly on any project I am on. Everything I say I can back up with documentation today. I grew up on a dairy farm and understand farming. I also lived in Minneapolis when I was single and worked for several corporations, so I know what it's like living in the big city. When I got married, we moved to the country, and my goal is to protect our quality of life in Castle Rock. I have lived in Castle Rock for 33 years, been married 54 years, have 2 children and 3 grandchildren. I grew up, like I said, on a dairy farm. I've been a co-leader of Vacation Bible School for St. Michael's Church. I was formerly on the Anoka County 4-H board, as well as a 4-H leader of a group. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resources from St. Mary's University. I volunteer at Dakota City Heritage Village for fun and am on their board. I'm on the Planning Commission of Castle Rock, as well as on the Vermilion River Watershed Planning Commission. I have served on the Cannon River Watershed and on the 6-County Watershed Board. I was also on the Environmental Impact Statement Committee for CAPAC's 2020 power lines when I was on the Planning Commission, and on the core group that defeated Kramer & Sons 24 years ago for putting in a dewatering mine. I'm not against money, but dewatering mines need to be put in the right area, not metro areas. I'm presently on the core group to stop the data centers from coming into Castle Rock. I'm not against data centers, but they don't belong next to residential areas. I work to be impartial, following the ordinances, and treat all the residents the same. We need planned growth in our community while keeping a good quality of life.
Thank you, Sandy. Go ahead, Todd.
That was good, Sandy. All right, my name is Todd Shostrand. I'm not going to use my whole minute and a half because I had half my lip nitrogen off like 3 days ago.
We'll forgive you.
It feels like I bit my lip like 400 times. Anyway, I've lived in the township since the late 90s. I was air traffic controller in Farmington, and when we first moved out here, we found our little spot out here in Castle Rock. We've been here ever since. We love Castle Rock. You know, it's a cool town, and I'll get more into other things with the next questions about specifics, but I'm just glad you guys are all here. It's not easy to get involved in things like that. Castle Rock, you know, it's not a big town like a fourth of it is here right now. So I applaud you for coming out on this snowy evening, and we'll talk more.
Thank you, Todd. Go ahead, Jordan.
Hi, my name is Jordan Harper. I've lived in Castle Rock Township for 3 years now with my fiance Kendall. I grew up in a small town in Iowa where I gained an appreciation for the simple rural way of life. Now a resident of Castle Rock Township, I'm running for a position on the Township Board to ensure the community retains its rural character and values. The data center was the final reason that pushed me to run for the supervisor position. I cannot idly sit by while our land and resources are being threatened. I have no history here. I have no alliances here. I'm here as a person who wants to keep this beautiful community the way that it is.
Thank you, Jordan. Norbert?
Hello there, I'm Mark Kuhn. I've lived in this township all my life. I'm a full-time farmer, farmed all my life. I would like to say, first of all, thank you to everybody for coming, and I hope that everybody watches the video that we're doing. I was asked from a few citizens that I would do this again because they feel we're in a situation with this lawsuit and everything. They think they need someone on the board that has experience. I've had 6 years experience of being on the board as a supervisor. I was chair for a period of time in there. I've been on the planning commission for 2 different times. I'm presently on the planning commission. And I'd like to see things kind of stay as they are, but with all these developments and stuff and that going on right now, there's a lot to be addressed at this time.
Thank you, Nord. Russell? Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Russ Zellmer. I've lived in the township my entire life, 61 years. I've raised a family. I have a wife of 42 years. I still dabble in farming, but currently I'm employed at Post Consumer Brands, the former multi-mill company in Northfield. I've been there for 27 and a half years. I would like the community to stay rural, and that's, again, one of my biggest things. I want it to stay ag. As far as for this orderly annexation agreement, I was actually one of the original authors of it, so I have very good background in it, and that's one of the reasons why I brought it up.
Thank you, sir. All right, these next questions, the candidates are going to have 90 seconds to answer these next questions, and I got a slew of questions here for them. So we'll start with Sandy. Sandy, what do you think the role of the township supervisor, and what experience do you have in preparing for that role, and why are you running for this position?
Okay, being an experienced township supervisor, and I was on the planning commission, I listen to the citizens. I follow the ordinances, and if possible, do a variance to be able to let people to build that house or their outbuildings on their property. We do the best we can, or to do a commercial or industrial business as well as a home-based business. Castle Rock needs to look to the future as times and industry change in our area. Some people now work from home. Also update industrial areas in Castle Rock while keeping Castle Rock agricultural for as many years as we possibly can. Because as we know, the city is encroaching down. Rosemont is pretty well built up, and we're the next town that's going to be built up. But that may not happen for 50 years, because I do know in 1990, the Star Tribune, when I lived in Anoka, said, oh, Highway 52 from St. Paul to Rochester is going to be solid houses in a few years. Then we had a recession. That did not happen today. So it is tough to foretell the future. Let me see. Where are the qualities? Oh, that's 3, sorry.
All right, thank you, Sandy.
I don't need it on a voice.
You want me to reread the question, Tom?
I appreciate that. Let's see here. The role of a township supervisor. All right, well, I think the role of the township supervisor is to basically have good stewardship over the township when it comes to how they spend their money, make sure people get what they want on their road, just the basics, quality of life sort of things. The township and the local county government and state government all have their own little roles, and I do think that the state, in Minnesota especially, really tries to push themselves, and the Met Council tries to just shove stuff down townships' throat, and I think maybe townships could do something about that a little if they tried to. I think that, and I'm not hoping this has changed at the moment, but one meeting a month puts townships at a huge disadvantage like us. It's hard for us to do a lot. You know what I mean? When you're meeting one night a month, and the township, I mean the county governments, the Met Councils are meeting every day. I mean, that's their full-time job, basically. That's all they do. It's so easy to just dominate townships. So I guess I look at it like, we gotta give the residents the best they can get for their tax money, and I do believe the townships need to protect the rural quality of life. There is pressure though, and we need to figure out ways to do it in such a way that it's manageable.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, do you want me to reread the question, or you got it? Okay.
Township supervisor plays a vital role in representing the community fairly and objectively while upholding ordinances in an unbiased manner. I see this position as an opportunity to serve the community with integrity, ensuring the decisions are made with fairness and transparency. With a professional background in software engineering, I bring strong analytical problem-solving skills to a fresh perspective of local governance. My ability to assess complex situations logically and implement effective solutions will help support the township's growth and well-being.
Thank you, Jordan. Go ahead, Robert.
I don't think I need that. First of all, I think thought of saying township is wrong. My opinion is we're working as a business, not a township. This is a business. Everybody that's a taxpayer in this place has a say in this building. Everybody should have a say, and you hire 5 people to pretty much run the business. You have to sit there and evaluate what the majority of the people want and what they want done and stuff like that. Yes, it is definitely our job to make sure that the money is wisely spent, and we have to make sure the roads are taken care of. You have fire protection and stuff like that. So it's more, in my opinion, it's more of a business than just saying townships. You have to work with other cities and stuff in that, but it's got to be where the people come first, and you have to listen to them and try to do your best to do what they want.
Thank you, Norm. Russ?
I don't think I need a microphone either. I think the role of a township supervisor is pretty much to represent its people, to do what they ask, as long as it's feasibly possible, legally possible, and the other things that go along with that. As for experience, I served 12 years on this board. That's why I understand what it means when people ask you things and they want to do things. Some things are permitted by law, some things are not permitted, some things are permitted by variances, ordinances, and everything else. And we do our best to work within those. Again, like Sandy said, we have made variances for people to do what they want with what they have to work with. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Sandy, what are the qualities of township life that you believe the citizens of Castle Rock value the most? What do you think are Castle Rock's biggest strengths and assets?
Okay, first of all, qualities of township life. We're small here, we're small enough that we know our neighbors. We like the quiet. We like to be able to go outside and garden and sit outside and listen to the birds in the morning, okay? We also are close enough to any cities around where you can go to museums or whatever you need to do. We also value that our neighbors can call us, that we can call our township and say, hey, there's a problem here, can you put it on the agenda and we'll discuss it at the next meeting. And what do you think of the biggest strengths or assets? Our Board of Supervisors and our Planning Commission are dedicated people who look out for everyone in the township. We are also fortunate to have a county commissioner who comes to our meetings with upstates and lets us know what's going on in our township. Our assets are, we still are agricultural, and we still value our quality of life here.
Thank you, Sandy. Todd, go ahead.
All right. When I think of the quality of life of Castle Rock, I kind of agree with you. We're all probably going to say mostly the same things. We have low density, right? That is a big thing. You look at what the other places are building up there, south of that, McDonald's and Farmington, they're right on top of each other, right? We don't have to have that. Gives us options, the flexibility. I agree, we know our neighbors. Everybody I've ever met in Castle Rock's been nice. Everybody. I've never met one person who was, I'm not going to use it. I had a bunch of words, but I didn't. The township government, I agree, is always, I think, does try to work for people. Everybody's got different styles, everybody's got different techniques. Some of us are a little more quiet. Sandy's on the planning commission with me. She works hard for stuff. Norm, tireless defender of Castle Rock. Tireless. So I'd like to put myself kind of in the middle there. So. And I want to protect the way it is. I just, what is our asset? It's what we have. We all know what our asset is. And I want to kind of keep it the way it is, as much as possible, as long as possible.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead.
All right. Sorry, I'm not great at public speaking, so that's why I wrote down my answers. Otherwise, I'm going to end up bad one. Castle Rock Township is a community that values its beautiful open spaces, where farms of all sizes allow residents freedom to shape their land and meet their needs. Having grown up in a small community in Iowa, I appreciate the strong sense of connection and shared values that we see reflected here. One of Castle Rock's greatest strengths is its people, their unity, and the dedication to preserving the character of this township. This was evident when the community came together in a unified front to voice their concern about the proposed data center, demonstrating their commitment to protecting and making this township great.
Thank you, Jordan. Robert?
First of all, I'd like to thank Todd that I'm the tireless person. Anyhow, our way of life, I agree, is the first thing is everybody can walk up and down the street and you can feel like you're not threatened or everything is peaceful and stuff. I talked to one of my neighbors this morning and he says, every time I cut my lawn in the summer, I always stop and visit with someone. It seems like from a half an hour to an hour. It's a valuable thing that you can do that. You know, that you don't have to worry about someone's going to come up and mug you or something, you know. So you don't realize the values you have until you actually sit there and look at them and see that it's so peaceful here, you know. So and you know you can trust your neighbors and stuff. So it's real. It's our biggest value, I think. I have some of the greatest neighbors I could ever ask for, and I think that is one of the best things you could ever ask for. And I think everybody sees that in the township.
Thank you, Robert. Russ, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to agree with everybody else. It's the people that make the township what it is. If somebody's, as a farmer, if one of us was hurt or anything like that, somebody else would always step up and help us. Vice versa, we would always do the same thing back. But as you said, always somebody stop and talk to. Yeah, I don't mow the lawn. I let somebody else do that. I never get nothing done. Same with my phone. When some days I don't answer it, I turn it off. But and our biggest strengths or assets are our people. It's 100% our people. I totally agree with everybody here, and that's why we're here to represent you.
Thank you, Russ. Hey, Todd, we're going to let you go first on this next one.
Great.
What do you feel are the biggest challenges facing Castle Rock Township right now?
That kind of depends on where you live in Castle Rock. I think the biggest, if you just look at it structurally for Castle Rock, I think it is that annexation, that whole area up there on the northwest. Because we've all said how much we like our quality of life and how we kind of have it right now, we kind of want to protect it. So whatever threatens that, I think is the biggest threat to the township. I think that we have to also recognize that, well, this dovetails with the next question, so I won't go too long with that. But we need to figure out ways to try to keep Castle Rock. That's what we need to figure out. There's ways I think we can do it. They're not all flipping easy. They might not all be the cheapest thing, and you might have to go in kind of a circuitous route in order to do it. But I do think that it can be done. And I really appreciate a lot of the people that are from the northwest side, which maybe a lot of you are them. You guys are involved. And you can really help the board, the planning commission, know some details that we don't know. You know, we don't live there. So I appreciate your help with the planning commission, and I'm sure the board will do the same.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead.
One of the biggest challenges facing Castle Rock Township right now is the ongoing threat of land loss in Farmington, which could impact the township's rural character and the independence of its residents. Additionally, the proposed data center poses a serious risk to the aquifer, which not only sustains local farmers' crops and livelihoods, but also serves as a vital source of drinking water for our residents. Protecting our land and our natural resources from these threats is crucial to preserving the township's way of life and for future generations.
Thank you, Jordan. Norbert, go ahead.
We all know the first topic is going to be the lawsuit going on with Farmington and Castle Rock. But there's also the proposed possible large solar field coming to this township. At our last planning commission meeting, we talked about there's a proposal for another wetland in this township. The thing is, all the things that are coming to this township are not your mom and pop stores anymore. They're all government stuff where they're federally backed by the federal government or by the state. They all have deep pockets. And like I said, Monday night, they did not hear exactly what they wanted to hear. The first thing they talked about is, well, you better start talking to your lawyers and stuff and that. And that's the scary part, because when the first thing, if they don't hear what they want to hear, and okay, we're going to come after and we're going to sue you. It seems like every time that's what we're going to do. We're going to sue you. And when all these companies are coming in, like I say, they have such deep pockets. What do we do against it? I'm open for suggestions on everything. I really am, because it's going to be a battle.
Thank you, Norbert. Russ, go ahead.
As the rest of the members have said, the data center, the solar farms, who knows what's coming down the line. We still have a power pole here in the township that is only half strung. They're going to come, they're going to ask for the other half to be put up. There's always going to be something coming through here. Unfortunately, with the PUC and the state and federal government, we are nothing more than a land bank to them. Take care of the land until we want it. And that's something that's got to change. I know you can try and talk to your senators, they're not going to change that. I know it's been brought up about possibly being a city, and I know it's expensive, but at the moment, that might be our only option. I'm just saying that I'm thinking that's coming down the road. If you want to keep it rural, you can do like Empire. They're doing some building, but they're not just letting the city of Farmington run them and tell them what to do.
Thank you, Russ. Sandy, go ahead.
Okay, data centers, solar, and the dewatering mine in Waterford. Now that's only going to be a mile southeast of 86. That will affect all the wells up to 225th Street in Farmington. According to Kramer and Son 23 years ago. The mining company says, no, it's only going to affect them for 5 miles, and we're only going to take water out of the Prairie du Chien. Well, if he wants a permit for 14 years, and he wants to take water out for 50 years, he's going to have to go down into the Jordan Aquifer, which will affect our deep wells. Now you have Track Company, which has $20 billion behind it, coming into Farmington. They have told the city of Farmington, and there is emails, they've been on Facebook, saying the city of Farmington Deanna Kiernan is asking them, how do we go about this? We've never done this before. So who's running the data center? Who's doing this? Is it Track running the city of Farmington, or is it the city of Farmington doing their research? We need to check this out, because right now there's no federal, state, county, city, or township regulations at this time on data centers.
Thank you, Sandy. Jordan, you're going to be up next here with this next one. What is your stance on the township's lawsuit against the city of Farmington regarding the violation of orderly annexation agreement? Do you support the Castle Rock lawsuit? Why or why not?
I am 100% in support of the lawsuit. From what's been explained to me, we made an agreement, and we've upheld our end of the agreement. The agreement states that they can take the land back, but they cannot rezone it, which is exactly what they're trying to do. If you are willing to defend the agreement, what's the point of having it in the first place?
Thank you, Jordan. Norbert?
I definitely support this lawsuit. When I became a supervisor the first time, at that time they swore you in the night when you were elected. My next day was going to the fairgrounds in Farmington and going to the first meeting of the annexation, the forced annexation between Castle Rock and Farmington. Court days, day after day, for weeks. But I feel like we always end up, that time we won. Ever since then, we have these OOA agreements. It seems like Farmington gets land, they develop it, we get a piece of paper. Now we have a piece of paper that's an OOA, and we're in court about it. We have yet to receive a penny from the city of Farmington. They get all this land, they get everything, we get nothing. This, my opinion, it's gotta stop. It really has to stop. I'm not willing to sit back and say anymore that, you know, it's hard for me when we won and we got everything we wanted, and now it seems like it's just the opposite. It looks like, and the other thing is, we had an OOA, the first one was fairly good, the second one got changed so badly, and everything that was changed in it was in favor of the city. I don't know who wrote it up. I honestly don't believe our lawyer did. I feel like it's Farmington's lawyer, but I have yet to figure out why we gave up rights.
Thank you, Norbert. Russ, go ahead.
Okay, I'm 100% against it as well. As a matter of fact, the night that the board had a meeting to get input from the citizens, I was the first one to speak against, or for the lawsuit against the city of Farmington. And like Norbert says, I haven't read the second orderly annexation agreement, but I have heard rumors too. A lot of the wording was taken out to defend the township. I don't agree with it. And again, this may be the next question that comes up on the list here that we will discuss.
Thank you, Russ. Sandy, go ahead.
Okay, I do definitely support the lawsuit as they broke the annexation agreement says in 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, and 10.1. There's dispute resolutions which they did not follow. Also, Tony Whippler signed this, by the way. Tony Whippler is now still the planning on their Farmington's Planning Commission. I do support the Castle Rock lawsuit. If you take one bottle of water for an AI email of 100 words, this is how much water it takes for one email. Okay, Ashley Gallagher says that we have the largest amount of irrigators, second largest amount of irrigators in the state of Minnesota. Nobody talks about food. We have organic farmers here. We have the Kimber farm. They grow the kerns of wheat. They grow grains. They grow food-grade soybeans. We have organic farmers. We've got a man growing hops for beer. We've got a man growing a vineyard. We need this water for our animals here. It's too much water may be taken out. I totally agree we need this lawsuit.
Thank you, Sandy. Todd, go ahead.
Well, I also support the lawsuit. At the meeting, I was in favor of it for basically the same reasons as everybody else. Apparently, if they've violated the agreement, we should be able to get damages. The lawsuit shouldn't cost Farmington. I mean, if they violated it, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. I believe if we win, and if it's as clear cut as it seems like it is, we should win. If you have any trust in judges who can read, we should, I think, win, and then it shouldn't cost us money. So I'm not too worried about that. Long term, I think that we're all cynical when it comes to politics for a reason, right? Big money seems to crush things, and no matter what it says, they tend to bull rush you. So even if you are a fatalist and you think we're never going to win, I'm still 100% buying the lawsuit, because it's what he said. If it's in a violation of agreement, you should fight it just on principle. And if a nightmare happens and it seems like you can't stop it, I think the lawsuit could be a way to vastly help the people on the northwest side of Castle Rock. I really do. You could maybe force them to make it shorter, make huge setbacks, and then they might just leave, just because of that. You know what I mean? They might go somewhere else. Why don't they put this big water sucking data center down by the mine where they want to pump out all the water?
Thank you.
Birds with one stone.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead. Oh, sorry, you already. My mistake. All right, Norbert.
Yes.
Do you believe the township's current structure is sufficient to protect its interests, or do you see cityhood as a necessity step for greater autonomy? If not cityhood, what other governance models or structure changes do you think should be considered?
Well, first of all, my first opinion is we do not have the structure to protect the township anymore. There's just so many things. I'm open for suggestions. I've heard of different ways that everybody thinks we can put some kind of a border up to stop Farmington. But every time I look at those situations, there's always seems to be an open area for some reason or another where they could get through. Myself and Todd, Drea and Brian, we have started where we've gone to, well, we went to one city already now that's been becoming was a township that became a city. We're going to go to some others. We're doing this all on our own time and our own expense to try to put some thoughts and stuff together, pros and cons, what's better for the township. And we want to do this in a way where we can, if we do become a city, we develop it and do it as we see fit, not where if the city of Farmington takes it and they just gonna railroad us and do what they want with us. We feel like if we're gonna make changes, we're the ones that want to make the changes.
Thank you, sir. Russ, go ahead.
I agree with Nor, we've got to do something. Townships, as I have stated before, the state considers us a land bank. We're holding the ground down till they want to take it away. As a city, that'd be impossible for her, more difficult. I shouldn't say impossible. That's happened recently up in the cities where one city took a section from another one, but it would be more difficult. As it sits right now, we're wide open, we're city loose.
Thank you, Russ. Go ahead, Sandy.
Okay, we do need to look for something to become a city. We do have a planning commission, as Norm said, there's people looking into that. I'm a committee of one, by the way, it's looking into annexation, and I did call a couple of people, and if we would do that, Charlie from Empire said he said to me 3 times, you better talk to your lawyer. And in looking it up, he gave me state statutes. There are many ways to do that, but there's more than one way. And even being a city, there is a whole structure you have to go through, then you send it to the judge, and the judge makes the final decision on that. We do need to do something. We're not sure what it is at this time, but at least our planning commission is starting to investigate, and we would appreciate any help from the citizens we can get.
Thank you, Sandy. Todd, go ahead.
Like Norm said, and also like Sandy said, becoming a city does give you certain powers over your land, I guess, that you don't normally have otherwise. The problem I see is in Minnesota, I think that like the Met Council and stuff just forces stuff on cities. I've been told that's not necessarily true, but maybe I'm a little more cynical about that. I don't want to become a city and have the Met Council force you to put all these houses up where we're trying to keep them out. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't want to just spend a bunch of people's money becoming a city and have the same kind of thing forced on us anyway, because we're a city. So I think we need to investigate all the options. I know one option I heard by idea about was maybe try to form almost an alliance with Empire possibly, or maybe not necessarily an annexation agreement of Empire, but maybe, who knows, and if you worked it out with them that they would just develop north to south. If you just kind of focus north to south, it would be a long time until they got down to us. You know what I mean? I mean, they're right by 46, and it's going to take forever for them to get down here. So if we were just trying to preserve Castle Rock the best we could, that might be something to think about, I think.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead.
I believe that we should pursue cityhood. I don't know what that takes, but I do think it's something that we should pursue. If that isn't possible, I think maybe tightening down regulations on commercial land use and adding like a maximum lot size with limitations on connecting commercial lots would be a structural change to protect the township's interests. I don't know for sure, but I think that pursuing cityhood is a good start.
Thank you, Jordan. Russ, you're gonna be next on the hit list here. How do you envision the future of the township 5 years from now and 10 years from now?
First thought is it'd be the way it is today. We're able to live in the country and do what we want, you know, we're relatively free of encumbrances. I actually know that's probably pretty much a pipe dream. I would like to see the township get some sort of a stance where we are able to protect our community and our lands, so that in 5 or 10 years we are this way. If not, we're developing at our rate and at our decisions, not somebody else's.
Thank you, Russ. Sandy, go ahead.
Okay, 5 and 10 years from now, for me, it's the same. As Russ said, our quality of life here, we like the quality of life. But as I said, many years ago when I lived in Anoka, that was 40 years ago that they were saying in a few years it was going to be solid houses from St. Paul. Well, then you had a recession. It's very hard to tell the future, but we can do things to slow down our growth. It's planned growth. I got an $18,000 grant a few years ago to start doing our ordinance book. It's been 3 years now, we're still working on it, we're almost finished. So we both have Bolton Mink, the city planner, who's helping us write that and updating it. We have to make sure that our ordinances read right, that the city planner is writing them the way we want them written. And then we update once in a while when there's a marijuana legal, when that's become legal. We have to put in some type of an ordinance for that. So it's kind of a balancing act, but we do want to keep our quality of life.
Thank you, Sandy. Todd, go ahead.
All right, well, I got a minute and a half, so I'm going to blow my first 30 seconds saying it kind of reminds me of Rodney Dangerfield, if you remember him. He had if I remember, I was going way back, he had a heart surgery because he was preparing for a brain surgery. So he went to the surgeon, and a press person said to him, "How long have you been in the hospital, Rodney?" And he said, "Well, if all things go good, about 2 weeks. If things go bad, about 2 hours." And sadly, he did not survive that. I'm not to be a downer about it. So, how do I envision the township 5 years from now or 10 years from now? I would like everybody else, we're here to preserve it, right? We want to preserve it. The problem is there's pressure on it in different areas. So, the township probably has to entertain some commercial, like he said. They have to have a pressure valve a little bit in some spots where we can do things the way we want them, where we want them, and try to protect the residential areas. Like they said, we don't need an 80-foot data center right next to a house. You know what I mean? It's an absurd situation, but that's where we're at. So hopefully we're just where we are for as long as we can.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead.
I moved here 3 years ago because this is a beautiful farm community, and I hope in 10 years it still resembles that. Maybe there'll be different families and different farms, but I hope that it retains its character.
Thank you, Jordan. Norm, go ahead.
First of all, the world is changing every day. The thing is, it's changing at such a slow pace, we don't see it. I'd like to say 5 years from now, I would like to say the township's going to be the same. But in another scenario, if we don't do some of the stuff that we're talking about, 10 years from now, Farmington could own another 500 acres of the township. They could annex it and take it all over. And we'll get a piece of paper maybe. Nothing else. So it's a sad situation, but we're sitting in a situation where if we don't act, we're going to lose. We're going to lose big time. And we're going to be pretty much forced out to some degree or another. So if you look far enough ahead, it looks a little grim. I hate to point that out, but it's the truth.
Thank you, sir. Sandy, knowing our current engineering firm Bolton Mink signed non-disclosure agreement with the data center developers who are planning the projects in neighborhood city, would you vote to keep them as a contractor, or would you look for another firm and explain?
I would keep them, and let me tell you why. Let me give you the example of Waterford Township. 24 years ago, they fired Bolton and Mink because they didn't think they were doing a good job and they were siding with the mining company. Well, they hired an engineering firm out of Owatonna. Guess what? They're going through this mining thing again, and they're going through the same thing, and this gal that they have, actually, when they tell her to put something in the ordinance, she puts part of it. She doesn't put all of it. So they have to keep rereading the ordinance and making sure that things are put back in. That's what we should do with Bolton and Mink. Making sure that when we give the city planner to write this ordinance, we review it and make sure everything we want in this ordinance is in there.
Thank you, Sandy. Go ahead, Doug.
Right, as far as Bolton and Mink goes, I think just because somebody signs an NDA, that in and of itself, I don't think should be a very big deal. I think that's done almost constantly in companies, to be honest with you. You know, lawyers, they might have lawyers literally representing the opposite sides of them, like a divorce case or something. So, I mean, as long as you feel like they're working on your behalf and they're not giving you a reason to doubt it, I don't think I would necessarily hold that against them. But if they did seem like they weren't working for our interest, then I would immediately think we should get rid of them. And if enough people don't have confidence in that, that might be a good enough reason to get rid of them, because you want to have confidence in, you want to trust what's happening and not have an appearance of impropriety. Or whatever word you want to use. Go ahead.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead.
I personally see non-disclosures as distasteful and they show lack of transparency. These actions are troubling, and I'd be open and willing to look into a new engineering firm.
Thank you, Jordan. Robert, go ahead.
As far as Bolton and Mink, over the last few years, we had some issues with them as far as the engineers and stuff. Being on the planning commission, the last 3 years, we must have gone through 4 planners for sure. One only lasted, I think, 1 month. So I'm always open to look at if there's someone else out there. That doesn't mean we're gonna make a change, but it also, you gotta keep an open mind. If there's someone else out there that's maybe willing to work with you and do a better job, we gotta look at that. You just can't say, well, yes or no. You gotta explore things and look into it and then make a decision, in my opinion.
Thank you, Norbert. Russ, go ahead.
That's a really good question. You said NDAs are a terrible thing. There's no transparency in government or business. I don't like them. As far as for Bolton and Mink, when they sign one, they're legally bound. They cannot do or say anything about it. As far as for representing both township and the city and possibly tracks, I think that was wrong. They should have either bowed out from the city of Farmington or bowed out from us and give us a reason why, without telling us exactly what's going on and say, hey, we can't do this. As Norbert said, always keep your eyes open. If you don't pay attention to what's going by you, you might miss something good. We may find a better planner.
Thank you, Russ. Todd, what is your stance on protecting Castle Rock's environmental resources and provide any strategies?
Well, I'm for protecting Castle Rock's natural resources. As though any of us will say anything else. As far as strategy goes, I've been working with people, talking to people on some of these issues. Drea has mentioned things about different types of environmental impact studies that can be done, and DNR rules that affect farmers that the data centers trying to get around. These guys know what they're doing, they're trying to manipulate the system a little bit. It's absurd. A farmer's got to go through like some massive permitting thing to take out X amount of water, and the data center can take out 6,000 X. and not have to go through the DNR or however it is they do it. That should be a rule. So if you're gonna take out over however much water, you should have to go through the DNR. Whether you're a corporation or a farmer, or you got a big pool in your backyard, or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what I think. So structurally, there just needs to be rules set aside to do things. And environmental impact studies are much more intense. I'm kind of against things like that being used specifically as a tactic to delay things. I'm for using them because they hopefully give you better information and with better information you make a better decision.
Thank you, Todd. Jordan, go ahead.
As I mentioned earlier, water and land are our greatest resources here. I'll enforce the ordinances that are already in place and create new ordinances that will protect us against future threats.
Thank you, Jordan. Norbert, go ahead.
As far as this, we all know water, power, stuff like that is our main thing. Working with this new ordinance the last 3 years, in fact, at our last meeting, we put how much stuff in our ordinance. It's not new, it's not enforced yet, but we're putting regulations in there, how much water can be used, how much power can be used. We always had, we had to have so many acres for industrial or commercial property. Now we put a limit also. So we don't end up having these great big buildings and great big businesses come out. So before it used to be we wanted businesses to come. We want businesses still to come, but we don't want these enormous businesses that are taking our resources all the way.
Thank you, Norbert. Russ, go ahead.
Again, resources are, and the people are what make this community what it is. As far as for water, that seems to be the biggest one. And again, sinking a well 50 miles away can impact your water here. You just don't realize how it's all connected. Everything is. The soil that moves down the streams from a proposed site to farmland or to even into a cattle yard or something like that. It's something that's got to be taken care of. And again, we do have ordinances for that, and they are making them stricter, and that's, I think, maybe the way we need to go. And also get the DNR and the Soil and Water Conservation District, who are supposedly on our side to help back us up.
Thanks, Russ. Sandy, go ahead.
Okay, on my property, I have a prairie. All of us who live in Castle Rock can do things. You plant your native wildflowers, you plant your native trees, whatever. But you can promote education and let all the citizens know about the farm programs. If you do not live on farms, there's things like rain gardens, native, let's see here, here's a native plant seminars that are coming up. And some of these are all Zoom meetings. You can sign up for them. You can go to programs where they say you can reduce the amount of fertilizers put on corn. If you put it on, they used to put it on 4 times a year, the University of Minnesota said, now it's twice a year. If you put it on at the right time, you get the same amount of yield. Thereby the nitrogen doesn't go down into our water, into the aquifers, and some of those other fertilizers. That's about all I have to say, I guess.
Thank you, Sandy. Jordan, to what extent are you willing to pursue the Castle Rock Township lawsuit to uphold the orderly annexation agreement? Is there a time or a cost limit?
I personally will do whatever I can to the annexation agreement. I'm a strong believer that we have a winning case in our lawsuit. And from my understanding, Castle Rock has close to $1 million in cash reserves for times of critical needs such as these. With a strong case like this, I don't believe the cost of the case will significantly affect the township's ability to function.
All right, thank you, guys. We're going to start with a 2-minute closing now. We're going to start. Sorry, Norbert. Sorry, Norbert. Getting ahead of myself.
Well, I'm definitely going to follow these guys saying that we got to follow this or lawsuit. But I'm here, I feel like there is no time limit. Personally, if this can get drawn out a little bit, there's bills in Congress and Senate Will they help us or will they get done? I don't know. But it could maybe help us if it gets drawn out. As far as how much money we're gonna spend, I don't think that's fair for us to answer at all. All the information that's been given so far to the board has come from the lawyers. We're all closed meetings, so we know nothing about that. As far as how much to spend, I think it's gotta be distinguished as far as how the lawsuit goes. If it looks really good, you go after them. If your lawyer comes in and says, you got a slim to nil chance, but you gotta spend another $100,000, I think we have to sit down and look at it. You know, the money, like Jordan says, that's in the bank is the money from all the citizens of the township. We don't know, are we gonna spend money on solar? Are we gonna spend money on wetlands? We don't know. So we can't answer them questions of how much we're gonna spend.
Thanks, Robert. Russ, go ahead.
I agree with Norbert, right down the line. And as far as for time, I believe the longer we can keep the city of Farmington and tracks in court, the less likely they will be like to build here because they want to get this project done and get on to the next one. If we can tie them up, it may take some of the heat off of us. So time-wise, as long as we can, and again, if the attorney thinks it's a chance, tie them up as long as we can.
Thanks, Russ. Sandy, go ahead.
One of the things we have done with our draft data ordinance, at our last meeting as a matter of fact, is we're asking for an EIS to be put in, which not only delays, but it slows things down. Basically, the dewatering mine now, it's been 2 years for their EIS. The DNR is holding that up by asking more questions all the time. They want more information for their regulations, etc. As far as time and cost, if a judge defeats us, do we want to appeal? But like Russ and Norbert said, it's a matter of, we do have the money to fight it. We have this COVID money we were given from the county. And the data center group, which I'm a part of at this time, is also working on the state bills. We are also holding many educational presentations, helping other towns in our area where data centers are proposed. Education is the key for the public.
Thank you, Sandy. Todd, go ahead.
Well, I basically agree with everybody else. The time is, the legal system isn't fast. Nobody thinks it's fast, right? So that just, I think, will help the township. I do agree. I think that the byproduct of that delay, I think, can help, especially if they're doing bills, things like that. I mean, the cost, nobody can say the cost, just unlimited cost. That would be kind of a ridiculous thing to say. But they should spend what they need to spend to do what they kind of need to do, I think. I think if it's, I hear the case is good. I hear it's, from what I understand, it's good. I'm not a lawyer, but, and like I said, if we win, then supposedly we can recoup some of that money. So it's a little bit, it's not like we're just blowing money. We have a pretty good possibility of getting most of it back, I'm hoping.
Thank you, Todd. Now, you each have 2 minutes for closing statements. We'll start in reverse order, so we're going to take Russ first.
All right. I would be honored to support, to be a supervisor on this township again. Again, I've served for 12 years and took a 9-year break. I've had a lot of family issues in the last 9 years. They're coming to a close, I hope. Be able to devote more time to this again and again. I think you people know how I feel about the township and how I feel about the issues that we've had. And I will do my best to support this township in any way I can. Thank you.
Thanks, Russ. Norbert, go ahead.
I'm the same way. I've served this township to some degree for a long period of time in my life. And I don't want to give that up. I'm somewhat glutton for punishment, maybe. I don't know. I know some of my family members say, why do you want the stress? I enjoy it. But I enjoy looking out for the citizens of the township also. And it's hard to say as far as what we're gonna be able to do and what we're gonna be able to accomplish. But when I was on that first board and we won against the city of Farmington, it felt so wonderful. And it feels awful right now. It seems like we're always on the other end of the stick. And I don't like that, I really don't. So I'm here to devote my best time and energy to make this township better than it is. And I thank you very much.
Thank you, Norm. Jordan, go ahead.
I build computers for fun, and I work as a software engineer for a living. I can tell you that what these data center representatives are telling you is not even half as bad as it's going to be. When the data center was first proposed, artificial intelligence, or AI, was still in exploratory stages. Now it's reality, and its data costs are expensive. Each question asked the generative AI model consumes and evaporates on average 16 ounces of water. And that number can be a lot higher for more complex questions. Every single company in the world is looking at a way to use AI. We've had the conversation in my place of work and so many other companies. If Track hasn't already decided to pursue AI, it's only a matter of time before they do, and this data center will not meet their needs, and they'll want more. In closing, I know I don't have political experience, and I've only lived here for 3 years, but I love this township. And I will do whatever I can to protect it. I fully believe that both my personal and professional experience will be valuable to the situation we are currently in with the data center, and I'm asking for your vote. Additionally, to show you the transparency I would like to bring to this position, I have printed off all of my answers to these questions in case you want to review them or take them home with you.
Thank you, Jordan. Todd, go ahead.
Once again, thanks for coming out tonight. Just like everybody else, I like the township. My kids have grown up, got a little more time on my hands. I do feel it's important for people to get involved if they can. I realize everybody's flipping busy, so nobody ever feels like they have time to do it. But if you can, I think it's good to do. I also think it would be good if the township somehow figured out a way to get residents just more involved in things. Not necessarily in every little issue, but more community-like things. Not necessarily our own version of Jesse James days or nothing that big. But I'm just saying some little things where the township can come together in a more social way and get more involved with each other, and maybe bring people in on I don't know if like a Twitter or X spaces, whatever they call it, where people can the township can get together online and you can voice your concerns and, you know what I mean, bring up little things without necessarily having to come to a boring board meeting. Just so everybody can get more in tune with what's going on. So that's what I would kind of try to do if I think I was on there, try to figure out ways to help people to feel more engaged in what's going on.
Thank you, Todd. Sandy, go ahead.
Yes, the township has a budget which we all follow. As I said, doing an EIS and putting that in our data center ordinance will slow things down so that we can look at things. And people seeing an EIS, oh, we don't want that. Data center, we don't want that. And they like looking at AUARs because that generally the city just gives them permission to do whatever they want to do. I both have been on the planning commission and a board of supervisor for 13 years, so I do have experience. I've been on the North Cannon River Watershed Organization and on the 6th County Cannon River Watershed Joint Powers Organization, which, like I said, they have a website and there's all kinds of great Zoom meetings you can get in on how to plant native plant seminars, and they do have other ones, septic systems, whatever you need. I attend all trainings and meetings. I'm still a member of the Vermilion River Watershed Planning Commission Board, and I've been on that for about, I've been on the planning board of the 10-year water plan for the Met Council. Actually, they come down and they have a representative. They had several meetings in 2023, and I've also attended education farming committees at Dakota County. I'm sure I've forgotten some planning sessions and seminars I've attended because I've done a lot in the last several years. I would really appreciate your vote if possible. Make sure you come to our annual meeting. This is where the citizens tell the town what they want, what they expect for their township. Please come.
Thank you, Sandy. The residents of Castle Rock would like to thank each and every one of you candidates for participating in the forum tonight, for being part of the democratic process. The residents are grateful you are willing to run for these positions to serve the community and speak with us tonight. Also like to thank everyone in attendance or anyone viewing this presentation. Part of democracy is paying attention to the issues of your community and becoming knowledgeable before you vote. And make sure you vote March 11th, the Castle Rock Township Hall, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.